Floorensic Flooring Physique, Episode 2, Clean Knowledge. Flooring trends in today's carpet and LVP, How to Care for Your Floors, by the Floorensic Cleaning Coach. This episode is hosted by Shawn Bisaillon and Jim Maness.
The views and opinions expressed in this episode of Flooring Physique and all episodes are the intellectual property as expressed by the hosts and do not represent the views or opinions of the brands, products, or companies who either presenter may also be affiliated. Follow advice for any solutions or trouble cleaning attempts at your own risk. Always refer to manufacturer's recommendations for use or care of any flooring, fabric, or textile.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Episode 2 of Flooring Physique. We're going to move that over to Flooring Forensics, and the Floorensic Flooring Coach here is excited to share with you what's going on in our market. What are we looking at this year? What's trending in the flooring world? What's popular? What do cleaners need to do to get in to more available business? And how can we connect with those around us? Episode 2 here. Episode 2 is going to be with my co-host, and we're going to bring our co-host in and give him a chance to say hello. And because, what would we do without a little help from our friends? But let's welcome Mr. Jim Maness. Hello,
Hey,
Jim.
Shawn.
Thanks for coming on the episode with us today.
Absolutely. What an interesting topic we've got today, right?
Oh man, I think it's going to be pretty fun. I really want to look and talk to you a lot. I mean, you've got some serious insight, Jim, about flooring, where it's come, where it's going, where we're at today. Real quick, Jim Maness, what's your position? What do you do?
So I'm the National Director of Shaw Total Care. And what that means is I take care of most things maintenance related. And also, work very closely with our cleaning partners, our cleaning community. It takes all of us to have successful outcomes. And so I'm very passionate about connecting. As you know, Shawn, I'm a master textile, but I've kept my ear to the ground when it comes to connecting with the cleaning community, restoration community, inspection community.
Yeah, you
just to make sure.
You maintain senior carpet inspector status. You are a flooring inspector. You are connected from cradle to cradle through these products, and I'm so grateful. IICRC influence the floor care industry, FCITS, a lot of the groups that you're engaged with, Normie. Looking at the health of the indoor building environment, the projects where I've come across and been able to work with you are a real pleasure to just continue to navigate through this world of flooring and the world that we're in. But yeah,
there's so many great people. There's so many great people serving this industry, serving these textiles and substrates and what have you. So excited to be here today. This topic is there's a lot here. So
yeah, well, I wanted to come together with you and talk about trends of our industry. What are we seeing right now? And not only, the types of flooring from hard to soft and a little bit, but trends and why are we seeing certain types in certain areas? But first of all, what would you say today is the most popular floor covering being sold, going down, most volume? What are we seeing most of?
Well, I think the one that gets a lot of press is the vinyl products, mostly in plank and mostly in residential.
Yeah.
Vinyl's been around forever in commercial settings, light commercial. But I think we've really brought that inside the home now. And I think a lot of cleaners, a lot of professional cleaners are going to see this. And that tends to be the most popular one. As a percentage, it's a little better than 50-50 hard surface versus soft surface now, but carpet's still holding its own. It still has its place. And what's interesting is regardless of the hard surface product, Shawn, people are putting area rugs over the top of these hard surface products. So there's a whole nother dynamic there. So, there's a lot to to digest here.
The heritage of rugs, obviously going back on to soften that environment, bring the feel of quiet and comfort and enjoy. And I don't think that's ever going to leave. That was the first thing on the dirt, and now it's going on top of the other stuff too. As we look at the anthropological look and the way people have used floor coverings and textiles. But back to that vinyl floor, you were talking. That's LVP, right? I think is the acronym. LVT,
Yeah,
LVP,
luxury vinyl plank.
luxury. Where's the word luxury come from? What's that about?
Well, I think that's, marketing and let's face it, the technology is dramatically improved. You've got WPC, SPC, so many variations. Laminates making a comeback, Shawn.
Yeah.
There's been some improvement in technology there. Wood floors have continued to enjoy their space.
Hmm.
And of course, tile in a lot of the markets where some of those products aforementioned aren't necessarily the first choice. So, you've got really the world of hard surface kind of in one basket.
Yeah.
And then the other basket is going to be that continued desire for that soft, warm underfoot, feeling of carpet. And I don't think that's ever going to go away,
Do you
whether it's
think
an
that?
area rug or install wall to wall, right?
Do you think we see a bridge with the kind of the hard surfaces coming softer? I mean, the vinyl we're talking about, that LVP has got texture. It looks like wood often, or whatever else you want it to look like with that print layer. So versatile. What a neat product. I think we're seeing the variations of core and softness and feel without flexibility, obviously, and deflecting and all those things that we see in the inspection world of unsurface, a bad prep, right? And the bad prep going in on that stuff. Are we seeing a happy customer with that product? And the
I
trends of
think
that
for the
product?
most part, the answer to that is yes. You'd mentioned, there's underlayments that are both attached to the product and that you maybe would apply underneath one that doesn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
But the feel underfoot is a lot different than, let's say, a hardwood or a tile, which again, all these vinyl products are emulating. They're trying to look like those things.
Indeed.
And it's, the statement, the more things change, the more they stay the same, I think applies here a little bit as far as visual. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's, color trends. Gosh, 10 years ago, hand scraped, rough sawn. These things were also very popular. And then the grays came on. And now we're moving back more into these warmer tones. And we're
Okay.
seeing, from a color perspective, I think people are wanting to warm up their spaces. And just remember, whatever's trending now, is going to probably be passe in a few years because people want to change things, right?
Look at
Or
80s pastel. Is 80s pastel ever going to be popular again? And those soft muted? I mean, your cerulean blue frumpy sweater that you're wearing. I'm not going down that rabbit hole today. Anyway, you know what? You've got such great perspective on that element of that soft goods. Are we seeing some tendencies or trends between the hard and soft tones and colors and products available? Let's talk about the carpets that are coming at us right now from Shaw Floors, their Anderson Tuftex, their AT product lines. Are we seeing soft and similar tones and types of transition products in the soft goods?
Well, it's funny you mention that because as a cleaner, what are the two colors that tend to be the most difficult to keep and make look good?
Well, the ultimate white, obviously, because
Sure.
you're held to a high accountability. But I think that even the dark colors can be tough because you see every speckle of thing on top. But that the ones in between, because we see that speckly look and the crimpy textures trying to hide a lot of, by putting textures in the flooring, hide a lot of what people track in. What would you say? What were you at with the
Well,
color?
I would probably weigh in, based on my experience, that grays and blues tend to trap light a little bit.
Mm,
Even when they're clean, they still might be abraded or in some way deformed from their original, and they trap a little bit of light. And to your question, the majority of floors that were sold were kind of in those lighter, muted tones, which tend to be a little more challenging. And let's not forget, you know, hard surface flooring by and large in a residential setting, which by the way is the bigger piece of the market here, oftentimes ignored from the cleaning community. They want to do the big commercial jobs, but the vast majority of the volume is sold in a residence.
And
So
multifamily. I mean, and it needs to be professionally cared for, does it? I mean, the consumer
absolutely,
says
it's
they see
you
life
know,
proof on it. There's like life or
yeah.
never needing, and it's hard surface. It's we don't have to take care of it. Carpet was so expensive, and we're not going to need to take care of this new product when it
Well, and it's
does.
self-performed, Shawn. So they're maybe don't understand the chemistry and the program of how to properly. They're victim to the latest marketing scheme on the grocery store shelf, right?
Mm,
This promises you a solution,
hmm.
and oftentimes we're seeing a lot of that. But you asked the question, what's the common thread here? I think pets. Yep. Yep. Pet
Definitely.
ownership in the United States is between 60 and 70% of homes have a pet. Now, I'm not talking a pet turtle. Okay. These are furry friends,
Jacob's got an
our
iguana
fur
now, an iguana,
babies.
or no, a gecko. He has a gecko. They're pretty easy.
Yeah, pretty low maintenance. But when it comes to our furry friends, we
Yeah.
want things that, anything that has fur sheds. And so whether it's soft or hard surface, these are things that have to be maintained. And by the way, that's a multi-billion dollar industry. And all of the flooring manufacturers have really tried to get to, their version of a pet friendly, a pet perfect, if you will,
Hmm.
type, um, type of platform. And that really is going to band across hard and soft surface. And, when we talk about pets, we obviously talk about hair
Yep.
being a
Easy.
big
You want
one,
it to be
right?
easy to remove. It's gonna be there.
You
You
got to
can't
have
get
it
rid of
easy to
it.
remove.
Yep.
But the other one is also what happens, unfortunately, but inevitably, with your pets, which is accidents. Could be chronic, could be once in a great while. But the promise there is to have products that will withstand,
Yeah.
those things that are associated with pet ownership.
What's gonna happen? It happens, but the truth is when it happens, we're gonna need to be able to clean up after it. So would you say, let's say from Shaw particularly, or any of the flooring, you can isolate it, they are making products that are more cleanable, that are easier to get those pet accidents out?
Yeah, we're looking, and one thing when I talk to cleaners, right, which is one of my favorite things to do when I'm up being able to present and train and help you and others that are serving the industry is like, look, you have to remember that you're working on a hard surface product on the top interface layer between the world and the floor. Regardless of color, regardless of any of the other, how it's built, we all want to know. We're all scientists, engineers, chemists, you name it. But the bottom line is these wear layers, if and those are vary between all these hard and soft or hardwood, vinyl, you name it. But they have been engineered in a way that most things are really not going to affect them. And yeah, there you go. Well,
I'm
there we
showing right
go.
now, if you're on the video with us, the wear layers on a Shaw, resilient product and construction. And you can see the variety of that film that you're essentially working on. Then you get your design levels when you get down into the print, and then your core of what's below it and what it's then going to click or style or the floor it's going to be. But when we say, just want to interact there, Jim, but yeah, please continue. We're interfacing with that layer, right?
No, I appreciate you sharing that because that's really where those clear layers, depending on whether it's 50 mil or 5 mil or anything in between. I would just say for the group that's on the podcast today, I would say the most of the stuff that you're going to clean residentially is going to be anywhere between that 6 and 20 mil wear layer. Why does that matter? Well, if there's scratches and things like that, the thinner wear layers will definitely get compromised quicker than, some of the more heavier ones. But that's something you should assess going in. But the cleaning process needs to be very carefully done there. But it needs to be done. I feel very strongly that the professional cleaning community has an opportunity here to really serve that space with properly remediation of the buildup,
Yeah.
the life that happens on that floor.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of
and
bad
they're built.
products. Yeah, people build up. They put the wax buildup products, the orange glows, the mop and glows, the chemical residue laden types of products. Maybe not those specifically are in every case bad, but in the case of like we'll see a misuse of a top coat or an upshine type product that then gets put on these to keep them looking shiny, almost covering that plastic. The interface you mentioned that I think is so common of a thread between we're cleaning plastic as professional carpet cleanings and flooring experts that have traditionally cleaned synthetics, the nylons, the polyesters, the once acrylics, and these we're dealing with plastic materials that are sensitive to how we interact with them with our chemistry, the protectant layers, their absorbency, the layers between the products and how they'll hold pet accidents and the damages or any spill towards.
Should we go through a couple rules on vinyl since we're right there that we
Yeah,
can share?
yeah, let's
Uh,
do it. Let's give a breakaway. How do we take care of your typical residential vinyl floor as a homeowner? What should I be doing every day?
well, if we could wave a magic wand and make a wish, okay. Maybe you have a magic wand, Shawn. I don't know. Oh, you do. Okay. Um, you know, the same metrics that apply to all cleaning is dry soil removal. It makes up the vast majority of a soil floor.
Okay,
Um, so we're going to want to vacuum that first.
right.
And that's a vacuum that's meant for hard surface flooring.
So we
We
don't
don't
necessarily need
want,
someone with a beater bar or brush. We
we
need
really
something,
don't want that.
a
As
light
long as it's got
brush.
brushes, as long as
Yeah,
it's got brushes, we're not plastic to floor, right?
gotcha.
Or metal to floor. As long as we've got brushes,
Perfect.
or microfiber rollers in some cases.
And then a good
Um,
filter on the vacuum so you're not throwing stuff in the air.
we want HEPA. I mean,
Yep.
not we, you do. Everybody wants that. All
The
right.
homeowner and we do when we're working,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And then past that, the microfiber industry has developed dry microfiber mops.
Mm,
And these are so critical because a dry microfiber mop has about twice as many grams per square meter as a damp one. And that allows us to get that bound soil that won't necessarily release from just a vacuum. It'll get a lot of it, but the really fine stuff, Shawn,
yeah.
it's not going to be able to, and just the example I always use is in the spring when the pollen's on your car, you can drive down the road at posted speed limit, of course, and it stays there, right?
Yeah, Bernoulli will
It
do
doesn't
nothing.
blow off.
We'll get no lift. It's not popping off. It's sticking.
So the same is true on your
Wonderful.
floor. Once we've exhausted those dry methods, then we need to move into the damp, and that's going to be accomplished either with just water and a microfiber mop,
Yeah,
misting. I say if it comes out of a bucket, we're out, right? No
right.
buckets. But misting and then damp mopping and then getting it dry relatively quickly in less than, let's say, 10 minutes, would be a good, maybe not every day, but a very periodic, you know,
So
maintenance
we don't
method.
want to grab a string mop in our traditional janitorial look or those little ringy because they're too wet. You're spreading it around. You're probably not getting a good thing. I think the Swiffer model, let's just use their brand, because it's kind of a name like Velcro, right? It's that surface treatment of those without chemistry buildup is real important that we emphasize that it's not a bad option, but regularly every day. You're right. We need to be dry vac. We need to do our light, low chemistry, if any, wet rinse of spot spills as soon as they happen. And now we're to the every 2 weeks the housekeeper's coming, or they don't come and it needs a little more professional care. What type of things could that professional cleaner at this point step in with? What were they maybe increased? Would they use one of these CRB machines, or what kind of thing would be okay for the deeper clean?
Is, well, it's a counter-rotating brush. So these brushes spin like this. And it's really ideal because in the flooring, we don't like stuff that goes like a merry-go-round. We like Ferris wheels. We don't like merry-go-rounds. Okay. A CRB is a wonderful tool, if they have access to something like that. And that would be the periodic call in the clean, the professional cleaners. I don't think most homeowners are going to have that. Although in Europe, it's funny. They have, instead of a vacuum cleaner like we would typically see in an American closet, North
Yeah.
American closet, they're going to have some version of a small residential auto scrubber, which basically puts down a little bit of moisture, maybe with some detergency. Neutral pH is always the rule. And then they're going to agitate that, and then it's got squeegee vacuums on either end that more or less remove that emulsified, released, unbound contamination. And I think that's where our professional cleaning community needs to come in, is that all floors need professional attention. There is no
There
such
you go.
thing as a maintenance-free floor.
Yeah. And I think that we look at the trends is where kind of bringing this together on this recommendation. And let's recite, we'll give a point here. A CRB is a counter rotating brush, not a rotary system. And we'll give a little bit of an emphasis as you take a look at our stop point here. And then we can, look at, I agree. I was in Europe and I saw my brother-in-law had these little counter rotating brush automated machines that was in his closet, ready to go. Self-maintenance is a big thing there. They don't hire professionals. My housekeeper that we fortunately have coming in, helping do some little aided in the home, has that kind of professional, or I've advised her and hooked her up to have that professional equipment to bring that level in. So then the third tier, when it is necessary, every year to 2 years, our actual flooring professional cleaning services, and what we provide, can really emphasize a deeper rinse, get some of that buildup out of there that might happen even in the hopeful periodic regular services to taking care of it. And that professional cleaner that may be cleaning carpet now needs to not just walk over that kitchen floor and think it's forever cleanable and it's being serviced, but do a demonstration in the middle of that room with a clean towel, a clean microfiber bonnet buffing, and show what a deeper focused clean can result with, and give that magic square, and not to give the client, oh my goodness, feelings like I'm not taking care of it, but to show them the importance that we are still needed on those services for their life of that product to give what it was supposed to. Carpet has an expected life, and maybe it's based on the warrantable stain resistance or texture resistance. These life-proof or almost forever flooring that a lot of people see it as, if it's taken care of, can give you a long time, but it's still going to probably be cycled out and changed over time. Covered up with a rug. You probably won't see the fading like on old wood, like you would have on a real wood with these resistant coatings, UV coatings, fade resistance and that. But what would you say? Are we going to continue? Do we see manufacturers making loose rugs to put on top? Are we seeing the coverings coming as options in the design world easily to just, throw that on top and, and then the destination rooms, we're still seeing carpet too, right? The need
Absolutely.
for that.
Absolutely. No, I mean, when you look at where things are headed, there's no sign that the trajectory is changing and that hard surface continues to rule the day.
Yeah.
But ironically, to your point, most of these spaces are being covered up with an area rug. And again, let's shift gears. When we talk about trends, clearly hard surface within the home. And again, that could be wood, tile, laminate, or vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
But the termination between the bedroom and the hallway is where that carpet is almost acting like an area rug and removing all that soil So maybe a customer is wondering why the entryway of those carpeted spaces is so dirty.
Mm.
Well, it's because all the floor that preceded it is so dirty, and it's actually doing its job of sequestering that soil.
Yeah, there's no mat
Um,
system. We're losing the track of the mat walk off, even on the interior of the home. You know, the soil sources, the kitchens, and others are need to be trapped during the maintenance, not just on the exterior before you come in, I think. So that's a great thing to
so
continue.
critical, so
Yeah.
critical.
We talked about
And
that in episode 1, you know, the importance of mats, regular maintenance, having a plan for the day to day, and the professional cleaner's role in making sure all of that is kind of brought through for the life cycle of that product to fulfill what you know its design was and be enjoyed the entire time.
Shawn, I like being taken care of. And I feel that's all of our professional cleaning partners are custodians. And I use that word with much reverence and respect, because a custodian is someone that you place in charge and you place your trust. You're the custodian of this space. And that person who's put that trust in you is relying on you to do what needs to be done based on your acumen, your professional accreditations, your experience. And so I think that maybe we need to rethink that word, because being a custodian of somebody or something comes with a lot of responsibility. And what you do and how you do it and what you need to advise on being done is so important. And that's why I love the fact that we're having these conversations with our friends out there in the world to say, hey, look, all floors need maintenance. You know that. It might not look like it, but I don't care if it's hard or soft. These things, and of course, everything in life needs maintenance.
Yeah,
Everything. I don't care what you're talking about. You got to dust it. You got to fix it. You got to oil it. You got to do whatever.
indeed. No, we
Um,
do.
so,
You know, we do
so,
too. You know, our for our time and what we need to reset and everything, you know, in depth and that depth has to be watched after and maintained. You know, it's
but
so true.
the trends continue to go hard. But again, just kind of some things that I've noticed along the way is, when we have this area rug over the hard surface, that's going to be a termination point. So always point out to your client by lifting carefully an edge to
Mhm.
show the difference between untrafficked and trafficked floors. And
Thanks for joining us for episode 2, Flooring, Forensic Coach, and Flooring Physique. We've been exploring today the trends of this industry, both the hard and soft surfaces, carpet, luxury vinyl plank, and the ways to take care of them. Join us coming up in a couple of weeks for part 2 of this episode, looking at flooring trends and how to take care of those luxury vinyl planks as a professional surface provider. It's been our great pleasure to have you with us. Thanks again for tuning in to the Flooring Forensic Physique.